Mustang Mach-E be the best vehicle, the most troublesome vehicle, and the most frustrating vehicle I've ever owned? We're gonna talk about that right now. What's up, YouTubers? It's your girl Shannon from EV and Chill. And if you're new to the channel, well, I own a Tesla Model 3 and a Mustang Mach-E that we've had for 10 months now. And we also have a few more EVs on order, but we're not gonna talk about that today. Today we are focusing on the Mustang Mach-E. And I have to say, in the 8 wonderful years that my husband and I have been married, we've owned 8 different vehicles. And I know some of you are thinking, whoa, that doesn't sound Dave Ramsey approved. Don't worry, we know what we're doing. Okay, but in those 8 years, the Mustang Mach-E has been the best vehicle because it's the best looking vehicle. It's probably one of my favorite vehicles I've ever owned when it comes to looks, and arguably, I'd say it's probably one of the best looking vehicles on the road that I've ever seen. However, we all know that beauty is only skin deep. It's the inside that counts, right, people? Once you get inside the Mustang Mach-E, that is where things become increasingly troublesome and increasingly frustrating. And as much as I'd love to just sit back in a lawn chair and admire the Mach-E, I actually need to drive this vehicle. But that's where our problems begin, with just trying to get inside the car. Now, if you've been following our channel for a while, you know that we've been having issues with phone as a key not working. In fact, here's a clip of me yesterday trying to get in using my phone, and surprise, surprise, it's still not working. So for the past 3 months, I've resorted to carrying around this key fob here. It's not really a huge deal because I just throw it in my purse and go. However, for the past month, we've been having a bigger issue because I'm still not able to get in the vehicle even with the key fob. Now, before all of you keyboard warriors start dropping comments, know that I do have 2 key fobs and I've replaced the batteries in both of these. In fact, even look at this clip. You can see that the car recognizes that there's a key nearby because the white ring is lit up. But even after pushing the button repeatedly, the door still refuses to open. So I have problems with phone as a key. Now I have problems with the key fob. It's almost like this Mustang is Fort Knox and doesn't want to let anyone in. But the problems don't stop there with getting in. When the key fob does work, I'm unable to open up the rear passenger door first. Here's what I mean. When I try to put my son in his car seat, I walk up to the vehicle, I hit the rear passenger door button, it doesn't open. So the fix that I found is to go to the front passenger door, open up that door, and then I'm able to open up the rear passenger door. Why is that happening? I don't know. It's not like there's some setting I have turned on. This is just another glitch to throw onto the Mustang Mach-E pile. And the words of Avril Lavigne, why you gotta be so complicated? So let's switch gears here and let's talk about Apple CarPlay and Bluetooth audio. Now, a lot of you guys know that we've had issues with wireless Apple CarPlay, so we figured we'll just try wired Apple CarPlay. And that presents 2 problems in itself. Number 1, sometimes the car doesn't even recognize that the phone is connected to it, and sometimes when we're driving, Apple CarPlay will just freeze. So that means the navigation is frozen, the music stops. The only fix for this is to pull over and restart the car. Now, a lot of you guys might be thinking what we thought, why don't we just try Bluetooth audio? And sometimes the car won't even recognize that there is a phone to connect to. So that means we're driving around using navigation on our phone like it's 2010, and we're driving in complete silence because we can't listen to our music through Apple CarPlay or Bluetooth audio. Now, we could listen to FM radio, but I haven't listened to FM radio in years. I just want to listen to my Spotify playlist, people. So we have found a solution. This is kind of funny, kind of not funny. But basically, we've just taped a piece of paper over the top portion of the screen because we have rendered that to be useless. The only portion that is actually functional is the climate controls on the bottom. Again, I'm kind of joking, but also kind of not. So all of those software issues are really depressing. But they're extra depressing because I know that I can't do anything about it, and I know that the dealers can't do anything about it. The fix has to come from Ford Motor Company directly, so that's really disappointing. But there is something that the dealers can fix. Well, sort of. There are 2 recalls that Ford has released, and it's kind of interesting because they let Mach-E owners know that there's been a recall, but at the same time they told us we can't do anything about it until we get a letter in the mail. So they said, hey, you've got issues, but hey, you can't fix them now. So let's talk about those 2 recalls real quickly. The first recall has to do with the windshield. It looks like during production it may not have been properly bonded to the frame of the vehicle, so that is a safety problem. So what Ford is basically going to do is remove the windshield, add the correct amount of adhesive, and then reinstall it. Now, if Ford had just hit me up, I would have gladly lent them my Gorilla Glue and duct tape I have in my junk drawer, but they didn't do that, so I'm just gonna take it to the dealer and have them fix it. Okay, now the second issue is kind of funny, but also kind of not funny, because the second issue has to do with the panoramic glass roof, which we love that feature, by the way. That is what made us go with the premium trim level. But we love the glass roof. However, that too is at risk of flying off. And how embarrassing would that be, people, if you're driving down the road and your top flies off? Shield your eyes. I think in Ford's words, they said that it could be a potential road hazard. Now for me, when I think road hazard, I think of like maybe a limb across the road or a pothole. I don't think of a glass roof flying at my face. My face is my moneymaker. Okay, so they're basically gonna take that off, add the proper urethane adhesive, and then put that back on. So those are two issues that are pretty big. But what's really funny about the glass roof, and again, it's not too funny, but Darren Palmer, who's the head of Ford and Lincoln's battery electric vehicle division, he said this. He said, and he was kind of throwing some shade at Tesla, he said basically that electric vehicle owners have kind of had to compromise on vehicles until the Mach-E came out. So he said when it came to buying the Mach-E, the doors fit properly, the plastic and other materials color match, the bumpers don't fall off, and the roofs don't come off when you wash it. So I think it's safe to say right now that Mr. Darren is eating crow with a big ol' side of sorry. So again, it's kind of funny because of the irony, but at the same time, it actually affects my vehicle. So that is really annoying because I have to bring the vehicle into the dealership to have these things fixed. It's not like they have a mobile ranger that they can send out to my house to fix it. So that is really frustrating. I wish it was something that could be fixed right now. I mean, truthfully, I wish it wasn't an issue at all, but I recognize that like every auto manufacturer has recalls on their vehicles. I'm looking at you, Chevy Bolt. Sorry, that was a low blow. I recognize that recalls happen, but that doesn't make them any less frustrating. Again, it's just not a good look for the Mustang Mach-E, which is really sad because again, it is probably the best looking vehicle I've owned in the past 8 years. But that's where it stops. The beauty is only skin deep. Once you start interacting with the vehicle, it just falls apart. I don't think there's any other way to say it. Now I know like the Ford fanboys are gonna come out defending it because they don't wanna stay completely objective. And then I know the Tesla fanboys are gonna come out downing it because they can't stay completely objective either. As an owner of both vehicles, I think I'm just an EV fangirl in general. Honestly, I just want both of my vehicles to work. But I wanted to share this with you in full transparency because that's where we are with the Mustang Mach-E. Hopefully things can be resolved soon, but we did want to share that with you. But that's all we've got. If you're having issues, drop it in the comment below. Maybe we can start a support group. Well, that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.